Joins us now from Sacramento. And Legs, I don't know if you can win a game in the playoffs in the second quarter, but 44-19 and 10 of 20 from three in that first half for Dallas, leaning on the vets. Felt like they largely took that building out of it. You were there. Is that a fair assessment?
Very fair, Scott. They turned off the electricity in this building, and there was a run by the Kings at the end of the first quarter where this place really was starting to erupt. And what happened in the second quarter changed what was going to happen for the rest of the night. It wasn't just the heater that Clay got on. He also had some help on that end of the floor. But really it was defensively what Dallas did to Sacramento during that quarter. 10 turnovers forced, and these weren't unforced. This was Dallas with their length and their speed and their physicality around the rim. They just absolutely suffocated Sacramento in that quarter, set the tone there. That led to their success on the other end of the floor. So no, it's not an over-exaggeration to say that this game was the second quarter and Dallas dominated on both ends.
You know, in talking to Clay, Legs, this team's got championship DNA through a lot of guys. They made a finals run. We all understand who they traded. But in Clay and AD, you've got guys who've done it, right? You got a coach who's done it. And they've also been just decimated by injury, yes, but the group that's played together, at some point they figure out, all right, this is who we got. Do they have enough to go to Memphis and not just compete, but potentially win that game? What's your assessment of that?
Well, yeah, based on what I saw tonight, I mean, defensively, that's what it's going to take against a team like Memphis. It's going to be a little bit of a different challenge for them than what they saw tonight. I mean, Sacramento is not a team that plays with a ton of pace, and it was important in this game against Dallas with the two bigs to do it. You can't just change your identity overnight, even though you make it a priority. Memphis does play with a lot of pace. They're going to get up the floor earlier against the double big lineup, so it's a different type of challenge. But what I saw tonight out of Dallas defensively and the commitment that they had, how sharp they were with their communication, and how intent they were. They came here to do business, and they want a spot in the big dance. They want a spot in the playoffs. I think, yes, what I saw tonight means they could go on the road and win a game, but it certainly won't be easy against a very good Memphis team. Dallas, super impressive tonight, though.
I'm with you, and I also agree. I think Memphis is going to be a whole different hill to climb, but this is a great building they went into and won tonight. I just want to get your thought on just the overall energy that surrounds this Dallas team, man. We all understand that fan base is wounded, and they are still bitter. But this group, like, what matters is the group, and I think the effort we saw from the group says, look, we get it. Y'all are pissed off, but we're trying to play here. How have they managed to sort of tune that out and focus their attention?
Yeah, well, look, I think we're all surprised that we're even in this situation because once Kyrie Irving went down and Anthony Davis was hurt at the time, I think everybody fully expected to see Anthony Davis next year and just get a fresh start, hit a reset over the summer, figure out what roster adjustments they want to make, and proceed with this guy that you acquired in giving up Luka Doncic. But Anthony Davis fought to make it back at the end of the year. And I think in large part he wanted to come out and prove something and prove to people what he is as a player. And he's more than gotten his feet wet now. I thought tonight he looks good. He was aggressive. He didn't shoot the ball particularly well, but it looked like the dominant Anthony Davis on both ends that we know he can be. And so now you look at them a little bit differently than you did a few weeks ago, getting this guy back and how confident they look tonight. You mentioned Klay Thompson and AD. You know, Scott, they've got a few other guys on this roster that went to the finals a year ago. So they're used to deep playoff runs, some of the guys on this roster, and playing under bright lights. They're not going to be fazed by what they see on Friday night. I mean, who knows how that game ultimately goes? But I think it was a big statement by Anthony Davis making it back to this point to at least give Dallas a chance to extend their season.
No, we understand that Luka's in L.A. and Kyrie's injured, but a lot of those guys that played significant important minutes, they got finals. They got a taste of the finals, and I'm sure they don't want to go out after just one win. Legs, appreciate the time. I look forward to visiting down the road throughout the play. Welcome, SportsCenter from the nation's capital. I'm Scott Van Pelt. Win or go home time in the NBA. We will head back to San Antonio, visit with Anthony Davis and Tim Legler. Some post-game coverage on deck. Plus, Tyler Hero puts on a show in Chicago to set up a Friday night showdown between Miami and Atlanta, who Vegas favors on the way. And the spring portal is open in college football, not to be confused with the winter portal, and it's a bit of a mess. So much so that we're taking yet another pass at this topic in the One Big Thing. That's a bit later. As for the play-in, the Mavericks emphatically move on to take on the Grizzlies for the 8th seed Friday night on ESPN. Memphis played Golden State close Tuesday night, nearly overcoming a 20-point deficit before ultimately falling by 5, 121-116. This game will be the 5th matchup between Dallas and Memphis this season. The Grizzlies won 3 out of the 4. The last 2 meetings occurred after the Doncic trade, with Memphis taking both by an average of 23 points. But you never really know the context, who's coming off back-to-back, who's on the 5th and 6th nights, whatever. The loser of Friday's game will join the rest of the non-playoff teams at home in Cancun. The winner earns a first-round meeting with the wagon that is, or that are, the Thunder. Memphis dropped all 4 of their games against OKC. The Mavs were the only team with a winning record against the #1 team out west. The stats don't count for this game, but this was Dallas's 3rd largest win since they moved Luka back in early February. That stunning move. It still has folks wondering what happened there. The Mavericks will look to carry that momentum as they try to become the first 10th place team to make the playoffs since the inception of the play-in tournament back in 2021. Dallas and Sacramento, 9-10. And in the second quarter, this is when Dallas really started to stretch things out. Klay Thompson hits the triple. Kings down a dozen. DeMar DeRozan. You know this man has more than 25,000 points? He does. He had 33. Next Mavs possession. Klay, how long is it in his fingertips? Not long. Now it's in the bottom of the bucket. Mavs up 13. Klay, again, give me all 3 of these. 5 of 5, 16 points in the 44-19 second quarter. Now it's AD. 1 pink shoe, 1 blue shoe. 3 more and get out of here. Game wasn't over, but, well, kind of, sort of over. Another triple. Davis and Thompson combined for 24 in the quarter, outscoring the Kings combined 24-19. It's a 23-point lead at the break. What a feed, backdoor. There's Klay off glass. He had 23. Then it's Davis spinning, fading away off the window. The lead is 22. Little finger roll there from Davis. He had 27 and 9, and Dallas gets the 14-point dub. Klay Thompson joins us. Klay, it's Scott Van Pelt. Welcome back to the show, man. Congratulations on the victory. There's so much chatter in the sports world, you know how we do on TV and all this and that about the noise outside. But Klay, all that matters is the group in that room. And there's a lot of experience in that room. What did you all know, and what do you know that matters about what you guys did tonight and what you'll try to do Friday?
Well, thanks for having me, Scott. And we've had to endure quite the year, especially when it comes to the injury bug. And
yeah, no doubt.
To have our team almost complete, obviously we miss our brother in Kyrie. I mean, we all can imagine what he would do for our team. With sky's the limit with he's in the lineup, but we're so desperate to keep the postseason alive. It's a privilege to play basketball this time of year, and I told the guys before the game, I mean, we have nothing to lose. Go out here with a free swing, play for each other, and play free-minded, because that's when we're at our best, and there's nothing like being able to compete this time of year. It's truly special.
Klay, that second quarter, we just showed the highlights. You were on one. As I'm watching, I was like, let's see how long the ball's in his hands before it's up in the air. I mean, it's, look, I know you've been doing it for a while, but you've still got that gear, and when it starts going, what's that like? What are those moments like?
It's why you train so hard, year in and year out, to be ready for moments like that. And I know I didn't end my season last year so well in this same building. And I knew once I saw one go in and I got my feet under me. I was going to let it go until I missed. And luckily for me, I didn't miss that quarter. And I think that helped us separate and hold on to that lead, obviously, for the rest of the night.
No doubt. Now, you and AD combined for 50, and there's a bunch of guys that made a finals run on this team and know what this is about. I think that gets underestimated, again, in the midst of all the chatter. And what do you lean into, Clay, as you head to take on a very talented and young Memphis team on Friday night that, again, might catch people off guard if they're asleep?
Well, this was a great test for us. I mean, Sacramento's crowd is one of the best in the league, and it was electric in here to start the night. And this is what's going to prepare us to come when we go to Memphis. We know how talented that group is, and they have a great home court. But like you said, Scott, a lot of these guys have had finals experience, and a lot of guys are hungry to have